So we're getting set up here.
How am I going to see what people say?
Okay, it's live right now. It's on, recording. So you just make sure you have the sound muted. So we're getting all set up here. Am I okay on the screen?
I don't see your head.
You don't see my head. Well, that's bad. Maybe it's good. Okay. How's that? All right, you can tilt it and fix it a little bit. But welcome, sorry for that. We're just kind of trying a new spot in the house, seeing if this might not work as a good room to do live streams in the future. But welcome back to the Punk Uncle Show. Thanks for joining us. Pretty special day. New bike day is always a lot of fun and feel like a kid on Christmas. As cliche as that sounds, but anyway, so yeah, we got a bike to unpack here tonight, and we'll see kind of what state of assembly it's in, and maybe go ahead and throw it together on the stand here. And then I've got some stuff from PNW Compnents already here, some goodies that I'll be putting on it in the very near future. But let's start off by grabbing a drink. I was gonna go whiskey, but I just had spicy nachos for dinner and beer sounded really good. So this is a Socks and Sandals Hazy IPA from Stickman Brewing in Oregon. And yeah, see, that's Brett saying, let's do this. So you can just tell me if somebody makes a comment, because I'm using my phone for the stream, so I can't see the comments. So Jen's gonna let me know if somebody says anything. So what's up, Brett? Anyways, cheers everybody. Hope you had a decent Tuesday. Let's get into this. So, as I'm starting to open this, I do want to talk, just catch up for a minute. Since the last, it's been probably about a month since I did the last one. So we've unfortunately been pretty affected by smoke from a lot of the wildfires here in California, and it has really put a damper on our riding the last month and a half, 2 months. So we've had to, basically most weekends it's ended up, if we want to ride, we got to go out of town. So we've gone over the coast a couple times. We went to Wilder Ranch a few weeks ago with our friends Noah and Janine, and then went with our friends Rappo and Laura to Irish Hills in San Luis Obispo, and also Pismo Preserve, and did a ride over there on 9/11. So, and then we've just been kind of riding the spin bike in the house and getting out for little short rides when the air is decent. But yeah, no big rides the last couple weekends. So there's a new bike in the stable. I think that will probably change this weekend, because I'll probably do whatever it takes to go wherever I need to be able to get a good ride in on this. All right. We got a front wheel. That is an Industry 9 alloy rim. It's their Enduro S wheel with black Hydra hubs. And then let's see, I think I got DHR, DHF tire combo on this, I believe. Yes, this is DHF on the front. Oh, DHF on the rear as well, actually. Same rim though.
Larry said this is the most exciting part of his day. Mr. Eddie, let's rip this thing. Open it.
Let's do it. Oops. Sorry guys. Save that for the breakdancing later. Alright.
Someone's asking, what did you think of Irish Hills?
That, if you're asking me, I enjoyed it. If you're asking her, not so much.
Do you need a hand?
I think I got it.
Here, let me.
Yeah, Irish Hills was cool. I thought it was a lot of fun. I guess the closest thing I've ridden to it, I would say, is probably like Montana de Oro. And it actually reminded me of a couple spots we have in the foothills here in the central part of the state. But you know, it was good, like a lot of embedded rock, so the chunk was not loose chunk like what we ride in the Sierras so much, but that more like embedded chunk that you have on narrower single track over on the coast a lot. Good technical climbs and pretty fun downhills. And there was a trail, it's called Chutes and Ladders, that has these really cool like switchback decks, I guess, kind of like built onto them. So you ride a switchback, but instead of it just being dirt, it goes onto a wooden deck that, you know, is basically a big square, and it's tight. You've got to make a tight switchback turn, and then it's a ramp, like a 1.5 foot, 2 foot wide ramp back down onto the trail. So really interesting features and really fun. But yeah, I liked Irish Hills a lot. Okay, let's see if there's a.
Brett's digging the color.
Yeah, this color, guys. I mean, it's pretty dim in here, but it's this really kind of just like deep gunmetal, but it's matte, a matte finish, which is kind of what Evil's been rolling with lately from what I've seen. I'm just trying to figure out where to start. So I got this, actually really want to thank Competitive Cyclists and backcountry.com. That's who I got this bike through. That's actually who I got my Evil following frame through earlier this year. And then we got Jen's Evil calling through them as well. So I've been able to score 3 Evils this year through Competitive Cyclist and backcountry. And they've been really cool to deal with. What happened, you know, if you're following the bike scene and availability and supply and stuff like that at all, you know it's really hard to get bikes. And when you go with a boutique bike company like Evil, it's even harder because, you know, sometimes it feels like these guys release a new bike and they make like 5 of them, and that's about all there is to go around. It's like they're impossible to find. So I was able to find the frame through them this year, and that kind of started the relationship. And so after I bought that frame, they assigned me, I think they call them like gear heads or something like that, but basically kind of like just a personal contact, like a sales guy that I can just contact directly with questions and stuff. And, you know, instead of just going and looking on the website, you know, you kind of got an inside person to deal with. And so because I bought that frame, they assigned this guy named Kyle to me, and so I ended up buying Jen's bike, you know, with his help, and you know, he hooked me up on that, and you know, just helped us get everything organized and stuff. And so when this bike dropped this summer earlier, I want to say it was like May or June that this bike got announced. I mean, the second I heard about it, I knew I wanted to get one of these to replace my Ritmo, and I started calling around and called some some Evil dealers, and nobody. What are you telling me?
Just
I don't understand. I can barely see you because the light's so bright. Anyway, I had no luck. You know, I've actually kind of always been more inclined to deal with a local bike shop. You know, try to give business to a small business. But I've experienced a little during this COVID, you know, during the pandemic, of bike shops have been so busy that they sometimes feel like you know, they don't need your business so bad anymore. And you know, it's just a byproduct of them being really busy too. But you know, just the personal attention isn't you know, the same always now. Yeah, I've still got a great relationship with my local bike shop, but they're not an Evil dealer. We don't have one where I live. There's not one within, I don't think, closer than 3 hours. So I couldn't get this through, you know, my normal guys. But so anyways, I'm just going back to talking about competitive cyclists. Kyle's been really cool to deal with, and you know, when these first dropped, I tried a couple of dealers, no luck, nobody, you know, they either had one coming and it was already sold kind of thing, or you know, they just didn't have any, they had no idea when they'd even see one. And it just kept running into dead ends, and I called or emailed Kyle because Competitive Cyclist is an Evil dealer, and I was like, hey man, do you guys have these, or do you have any coming in? Can I reserve one? And at first it was like, they'll come in, but we don't know when, and you know, it's kind of like first come, first serve when they get in. Followed up with him a couple months later into the summer and said, hey, I just want to let you know, I mean, if you see anything, just let me know, because I want one of these bikes, and you know, I'll put a deposit down, whatever I need to do. I want, you know, if there's nobody's name in front of me, I want to get one as soon as you hear something. And sure enough, they got to a point in the ordering process where he could actually put a sales order on it, onto the bike. And so I got my name on this thing back in July or August, I want to say. And it finally came in. And so really, really stoked.
All right.
Really thankful that worked out. And it was really because of, you know, that kind of extra bit of customer service from Competitive Cyclists. So.
Yeah, thank you, Competitive Cyclists, for watching. They're excited, and they said thanks for shopping with us. Riding Dirty just asked, he just got here. He's wondering what type of Evil it is.
All right, so Riding Dirty, a fellow Evil appreciator and owner. This is the new Insurgent MX. So this is the mullet version, the 27.5 rear, 29 front. I guess I should have said that as I was starting the video, but yeah, this is the brand new V3 of the Insurgent, and I went with, they do offer it with just straight 27.5 front and rear, but I went for the mullet build. I'm really looking forward to trying that configuration. I've never ridden a mullet before, so I'm pretty pumped to see what it's all about. So I think...
Riding Dirty said, did you just say an Insurgent? I so hate you. Someone jelly.
Well, yeah. Let's ship enough drop of dirt.
This is like opening up Barbie packages at Christmas time.
Yeah, well, I think most people know what they're getting into if they're watching a bike unboxing. Okay, first look. That color is, I like it a lot. I've been, you know, of course, for the last 3 months or so dreaming like, what am I going to accent this with? What color am I going to use to go off of this? And usually I'm all like, you know, bright neons and that kind of stuff, but I kind of like how dark and kind of sinister this color looks, so I don't know, I'm going to go something darker. I think I've been kind of just thinking about red, even though that doesn't seem real creative. It does kind of seem like it would work to me.
You keep hitting the camera.
Oh, sorry.
So, Riding Dirty, I converted my Evil Reckoning into 27.5 with a lot of research.
I think I saw his video or Instagram post about that, actually.
And Larry Smith just chimed in saying, that's going to be a great bike for Downeyville.
Yes, it is. My man Larry. I'm going to try to make my first pilgrimage to Downeyville coming up here soon. Larry's been bugging me for probably over a year to meet up with him. So, trying to make that happen in the very near future. So, guys, I went with the GX build, SRAM GX. One thing that I really appreciate about Evils is that regardless of the build kit you get, I'm pretty sure the suspension's the same, regardless. So I get the same fork and shock as if I'd have bought the X01 or XTR build or anything above this. And I've talked about this in videos before. I think my last 4 bikes now have all been GX. I'm down with that drivetrain. It's pretty reliable, and it's actually very reliable. It's not the lightest, but that doesn't bother me, and it's just the price is right. I feel like it's the best bang for your buck, unless you've just got money to burn, and I don't. So, yeah, GX has been the way to go for me. And like I say, with the Evils, all the other componentry, especially the main stuff you're worried about, which is the suspension, is really solid. So let's see, what do we need here for the... There we go. So it looks like I need a 4 for the stem. Try to get this just kind of nicely put together. So yeah, GX, I think we've got a bike yoke dropper seat post, which is, that's what the build spec said. I haven't looked at it yet because it's covered up, but
Someone's noticing your guitar in the corner.
looks like the bike yoke lever there. I had the bike yoke on my Ritmo the whole time, and I have had zero issues with it. I think it's fine. So I've got no problem with that being on here for the time being. I'll probably, maybe at some point, try to switch out to a PNW post and remote. I'm really a big fan of PNW's droppers, and that loam lever is
I think
amazing.
Red and Dirty is asking if it's GX.
Yeah, GX. GX, it's i9 wheels. I think it's house brand handlebars. Code RSCs, I believe, on the brakes. Yeah, GX, I gotta go. I can't do those dentist builds, man. I gotta more on the
So does your buddy Kyle have connections to get more Evils if anyone else is?
Is that what someone's asking, or is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, you're just trying to stir up trouble. That's a good question, hopefully. He did tell me that it got mentioned in the process of me getting this one, like, hey, do you still want it? FYI, the next one we're getting is supposed to be February of next year. So they are definitely down to help. It's just availability is the thing. And so that I got out in front of this as far as I could, given when I found out about the bike being released. So short of having some kind of industry inside, knowledge of things before they drop, if you're, basically a regular consumer like me and you find out the day they announce it, then you just got to scramble and find stuff as fast as you can. And even then, like with this, really, it really, I think, worked out because I had just bought some other stuff through these guys, and so I got a little bit more attention on it, and that ended up being the difference of me being able to score one of these. So these are G2 RS. What I'm planning to do is ride this, for probably. Try to get like at least 4 or 5 good rides in on it, completely stock, and then just do like a review of the GX build kit, or the whole package as a whole with the GX build. And then once that's done, then I'm gonna start switching it up and personalizing it more. So I'll go put the PNW bars on to try those. Probably, hopefully, I don't know how soon it'll happen just because of product availability, but I'll definitely be trying to get a set of carbon rims or carbon wheels with Project 321 hub.
And then Red and Dirty said, I rode an offering for the first time today and I still like my Reckoning more. And he
That's
says,
good.
if I could get an Insurgent frame, you would be a god for me. And Competitive Cyclist just chimed in saying, putting in a back order with us is the best way to get in line,
There you go.
especially if it's not coming until February. Perfect Valentine present. There you go.
That's really cool that Competitive Cyclist hung out and watched this. I appreciate that. It's very sweet. And it's actually really awesome because there was questions for them that they were able to help with. So good job, everybody. All right. Let's get some wheels on here, I think.
Will you be putting the protective tape on this bike as well?
Yeah, for sure. It does feel, I mean, I already feel a little better just because of how much darker the color of this one is. It, got my end cap in there.
Maybe your guy from Competitive Cyclists might know the best way to wash the matte paint on an Evil, because I know my Angry Dolphin color picks up grease and stuff
Yeah.
very easily.
That's the hardest thing about them is they pick up grease just, you know, for normal maintenance. We've been able to keep them clean so far, but they definitely require some attention. And of course, that's, you know, really also depends on how fussy you are about how clean your bike is, because they are mountain bikes after all. They get dirty literally every time you use them. So getting too neurotic about how clean they are is potentially kind of ridiculous. But, you know, when you invest this much in things, I at least definitely try to keep them nice as long as at all possible. Start to see a little better. Dikes.
Why don't you take the paper off the top part so they can see it better, and I'll get a close-up.
Talking about the top two.
I will do my best to keep this from looking like Blair Witch Project. Eddie, what's the trick to get this off?
It's just like a spring. You just spread it open. This will be my first time riding Industry 9 hubs.
I think I figured it out. Ouch, now my finger's stuck in there. Okay. Okay, watch out, Eddie. I want to get a close-up of the color.
So you got GX top to bottom on the drivetrain. Even the crank is the GX alloy crank. I believe this came with 170mm crank arm. That's what I put on my following, and I've really liked those actually. So pretty sure that's what we got again here, and I'm good with that. All right. Like a fighter jet or something.
It's beautiful.
That is a very, very cool color. Oh man, these.
Will you help me put the...
Just wanna take the end caps right with them.
Eddie, will you help me put this back up here?
Takes some real bike nerds to sit around and watch this kind of stuff. I appreciate you guys doing it.
Sorry, you guys. I'm just learning how to use this for the first time.
We keep it very professional over here. About my guitar.
Just that you play the guitar too.
Unfortunately not. I used to dabble. Sadly, I haven't touched that for a few years.
But all your son's friends would when they'd come over to play music.
Oh yeah, they think it's really cool to come over to band practice. There's a Les Paul sitting in the corner. Okay. There she is. I mean, that's pretty much the look.
Do you have a name picked out for this one?
I don't think. Go through and do the air and everything, but there it is, guys. The Insurgent MX29 they call it, or MX, which is the mixed wheel set. I guess it's not like cool to say mullet anymore, but I will probably never stop calling it a mullet. But anyways, yeah, so stoked about the geometry of this bike. I'm really stoked to try the mullet setup. I'm probably more excited than anything about riding a coil shock for the first time. Basically the last year, or last 2 summers, so a little over a year, is really the first downhill and real enduro, kind of steep and rocky riding I've done. And I don't know, there's something to me that makes sense about having that back wheel a little bit smaller, about being able to get your saddle a little bit lower, and also the maneuverability in corners, because in the West Coast here, the High Sierras, and then even up in like Oak Ridge and some places I've ridden up in Oregon and the Pacific Northwest, we have tight trails with really tight switchbacks and stuff. And I think just any little bit of maneuverability help you can get is going to be really welcome, especially when these bikes are getting slacker and longer. That means turning them, can sometimes take a little bit more effort. But yeah, I'm pumped on the coil. I've always wanted to ride one and just feel, that renowned plushness in the rear on really rough trails. And now that I ride that kind of stuff, I'm super curious to just see how different it really is and how much more traction it feels like it has. And then also see how much it hurts, what I lose going up the climbs and stuff. So I'll be doing that pretty soon, hopefully doing some long fire road drags up to ride 007, 3 sections, and then bombing down on this thing. So very much looking forward to it. If I haven't gone over all the specs, I think we went over all the componentry, but it's 170 millimeter front fork, and then I think it's 168 or 166 in the rear. So basically 170. And I'll tell you what I was thinking when I did this, because I can already hear some of my friends laughing, like, he doesn't need a 170 millimeter bike. But the mixed wheel set was a big thing. The travel really didn't matter to me nearly as much as the other stuff that I really wanted about this bike. But having my following changed it moved the suspension ranges of what I thought my 2 bikes should be. So, before I had the Ripmo, which is basically 150, 160, so not way smaller than this, but a little bit, and kind of slides it into that kind of longer trail bike range, as opposed to this getting more into a true enduro setup. But the following is so much more capable than I expected it to be, and I ended up riding it and do ride it in a lot rougher places than I ever anticipated. So now with that bike, if I'm going somewhere and, you know, the biggest, you know, drops and jumps are, you know, like 2-foot drops and that kind of stuff, you know, basically trail, you know, and not like crazy steeps and that kind of thing, I'll take that bike most places now just because it does so much more than, you know, just fast cross-country riding or, you know, blue trail riding. I mean, you can really ride that bike in some stuff. So with that being taking a little more of the difficulty in trails that I ride, kind of taking a bigger chunk of that, then what I've decided was, why not try a longer bike, something that's even better suited to China Peak and some of the stuff at Bass Lake, some of the stuff up in Ashland. Like, I can't wait to ride this bike on Time Warp. And then Oak Ridge too, you know, has some steep, really fun stuff, and like big root drops and just all kinds of like, you know, rooty downhills, like stuff, places where I think the geometry and the plushness of the coil shock are just going to be really fun to play with. So yeah, so I thought, you know, with my quote unquote trail bike or my short travel bike being so capable, I could get a little bit more extreme with, you know, what I consider my summer bike. So that's the theory behind it anyways, and we'll see how it all plays out. But I definitely plan to get out on it this weekend one way or another and start the process of getting that very first review done. So before I let you guys go, just told Riley from PNW that I would open this and unbox it as well. PNW's been really cool. I really like the products, and that's basically, the loam has become my grip of choice now. And
Is that for your bike or mine?
so managed to get a set of the range bar. And I'm going to test these bars out. So I haven't run 31.8 diameter bars in a while. So that's going to be interesting. I've been running 35s for the last probably 3 or 4 bikes at least. So got the red accent on there. I think that's going to, yeah, that's going to look real nice.
Straight line. Wants you to bring it to North Star.
How much longer is North Star open? And then we got the grips in the cement gray, the PNW loam grips. This light's turned kind of crazy. Is that good?
Well, now you just turned where my camera was facing.
All right, so range bar, loam grips, those will be going on after I ride this for a little bit. I gotta be honest, like, I mean, I'll trim the bars, but it looks, I mean, there's nothing on here that I have an issue with. It's really just gonna be personalizing it and using stuff from my sponsors. The one thing that I'm interested to see that I'm anticipating not liking is the brakes. I've been riding Shimano's on my Ritmo and my Evil now, so I've been on Shimano's for a little over a year exclusively, and I don't know, every time I jump on someone's bike that has SRAM brakes, I really don't like them, but I did get accepted into the Magura Alliance, so I've got to deal with them now, so I'm going to be trying to get some of their brakes to test on here too. So that'll be coming up, yeah, probably in the next couple of months, depending, again, on availability. Everything's back ordered, so no way to know exactly how soon it's going to come.
And they said North Star closes the first weekend of October. So
like
that's coming up.
Like in a few days.
How far is it North Star from where we
About
live?
4 hours. I guess we could go up there this weekend.
Well, maybe we'll meet you there. If there's something I can ride.
Oh, there's stuff you can ride. What was I talking about before that?
I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, but I'll be changing out the brakes, I'm sure, and then when I'm sure I'll swap the wheels out. I'm actually looking forward to being able to ride just because I've never ridden any i9 stuff at all, wheels or hubs. It'll be interesting to compare because, you know, obviously being supported by and friends with Project 321, you know, I've just kind of stayed away from it as, you know, it's like the big rival in the market, right? So I feel like a cheater. But, you know, since it came on the bike, heck, we'll run it and see what's up. And if nothing else, I think this will, you know, be really nice to have a solid set of backup wheels once I get, you know, my nice ones made up. So, but yeah, I'll do stuff like, I'll weigh it, I'll see what it weighs right now, you know, and kind of track that as I do upgrades and things. And yeah, just kind of see what's happening. If anybody knows someone looking for a bike, my Ripmo is for sale. You can find it on Facebook Marketplace, and it's on Pink Bike. I just listed it today as well. But it's 2020 Ripmo AF. It's large. It started life as the GX build, but it's now about half X01, half GX. I just replaced the chainring, cassette, and chain in like July. They were a year old, you know, just time to freshen the drivetrain up. So I put an absolute black oval chainring on the front, X01 cassette, X01 chain. It's still got the GX shifter and derailleur, but they're working great. That bike has the bike yoke dropper. It's got Ibis carbon wheels, 35 millimeter internal width carbon rims with brand new tires on them. The rims, tires, that whole setup is in really good shape. Shimano 4-piston brakes. I put new Ice Tech rotors front and rear this summer, so the brakes are working fantastically. Renthal carbon light fat bars and a Renthal stem. And I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, it's fresh tires, fresh drivetrain. Yeah, I mean, that thing is good to go. So anyways, check it out, Facebook Live, message me on here if you can't find it, and I will show you where it's at. But I think, is there any other questions or anything I need to respond to?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Well, hey, thanks. That's probably the most people, I mean, actually I couldn't see the screen, but probably the most people that have hung in for a live, so I finally found something that would keep your attention for more than 3 minutes.
And somebody was a little winded tonight.
But yeah, stoked. So anybody watching who isn't following, subscribing to the channel yet, please do. But yeah, guys, please hit the like button as well. And then make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook. We've got a Facebook page for the channel, for the channel, and an Instagram page as well. But I post a little bit different stuff each place, so there's always something different going on both of them. And yeah, we'll check it out on the next one. I'm planning on doing another giveaway contest soon too, so stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll get some O'Neill stuff out on this next one. All right. Hey, thanks again. Peace. Have a great week, everybody.